same players. Another big map that can possibly set up for base trades. Oh, did you get in here? Okay, you did. Excellent.
Yep, I'm in.
Panicked for the moment. Had to make sure my partner was with us, guys. Hooey!
No worries. Jin's usually a pretty good admin. He's actually very on point usually. So very curious to see how this next map goes. It is going to be New Kirk Precinct.
Yeah. To kick it off, unfortunately, whoops, that's the wrong score. He's down one game in this best of 3. In the lower right side, we've got the blue Zerg player, Leenock.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left, a champion. It is Zest. And showing that champion quality in that last game. Like, I feel like sometimes games like that are the difference between, like, the absolute best and, like, the next tier below them is, like, Zest is one of the few players who would just stay in that game, just, like, never giving up hope, never, like, getting tilted, just doggedly fighting until his last breath. And once in a while, you'll actually make a comeback in that situation and somehow win.
You know, there's part of this, too, where if we rewind back a bit and we talk about how we knew what Zest was going to do from the get-go of that game, and I think Leenock knew, too. That being said, a game that should have been predictable and easy to handle turned into such a messy, fantastic, wonderful, like, end. This is why I still love StarCraft after years of watching all the same games over and over and over again.
It really is. There's just so much that can happen in StarCraft. There are so many different variabilities, and looks like Zest here just going to come across with quite an early probe scout, which is, I find it slightly surprising since this is a big map where you don't get to block the hatchery, even with an early probe scout. But it looks like Zest here just wanting to play very safe, maybe fearing some sort of early pool action from Leenock, and is just going to keep on harassing this mineral line, trying to be as annoying as possible. Leenock, meanwhile, going to be going for a very fast third hatchery before he starts up any queen production. So a very economic build once again from Leenock, but he is going to have the power of that fast Zergling speed this time around.
I will say he did a pretty good job fending off Zest last game without it. Again, I can't say for certainty that Zest is going to do the same build again with the same DT timing, the same Warp Prism, but as much as I was impressed by him last game, I kind of remember now, I forgot about this too, like Zest kind of threw away his Warp Prism, he lost those 2 DTs right off the bat. Like, that was actually a very messy start for him.
Yeah, I mean, after winning that though, it's such a confidence booster. So I kind of feel like he got lucky that like he's gotten back. You know, he worked hard for it, but it's a real confidence booster, and it's good for your psychology as a player if you can come back and win that game after a bad start, because you know he's saying there is no way I'm losing that Warp Prism 2 games in a row. There's no way I'm throwing away that first Adept 2 games in a row. So with a cleaner opening, I definitely think Zest could do very well here. I think against maybe like Dark or something like that, I don't think there's any way Dark would ever lose to Zest if he gets the Warp Prism, if he gets a few of those early DTs. But it felt like Zest kind of managed to stay pretty close in overall supply with Leenock and kind of stayed pretty even with him despite that early damage that he took. So Zest, if he can clean up the early game, might be able to just steamroll this one.
You know, I kind of forgot too. I don't want to keep pointing out all of Zest's mistakes and errors, right? But the Adept losing it that early last game kind of sucked. Keeping it alive this game, I was hoping he would have stayed on Leenock's side of the map. If he had seen that really fast Evo chamber, which he did not scout, he maybe would have had an easier time predicting Overlord drops. I mean, Leenock's going to get right past this wall. Zest has been doing a lot of these double-layered walls. It's really cool. It stops busts, but
Leenock is going all in as well.
Yeah.
So that double-layered wall is going to be so important for holding this. This is a mass speedling all-in. Already has the elevator in the main mineral line. Going to start grabbing some probes. Nice probe micro from Zest here, trying to minimize the surface area and so on, but does already lose 6 probes. Nice drop there from Leenock, and the Zergling YOLO is going to start hitting that front wall. What's he going to target? Looks like he's going to go for the pylon and the Zealot for now. Is he going to tank that overcharge? No, he does pull back. Realizes that he can't fight that overcharge. Might just elevator on top of this Adept though. Yeah, I think this is the right call.
I mean, he's got so many links. He could just keep doing this endlessly. The one Adept is not a problem. The probes get pulled. They're going to try and keep it alive, but it finally gets focused down. Second Adept comes in. Mothership Core doing what she can, but the surround is too good, and all the defenses of Zest are just disappearing.
And that Zealot in the wall's about to go down as well. There's nothing blocking behind it, but oh, Leenock just slightly too slow to get through that wall. He's going to start to take down the pylons, though. He's got Zerglings hitting from 2 sides here, but oh, very good Warlocks. Holy hot damn. DT's there. He's got the overcharge ready with the Mothership as well, and it looks like Zest, even though he lost 13 probes, I think he's held on.
So this is where it gets cool for Zest. I brought this up earlier, like the double layered wall he does. It's been extended, it's longer, and it's easier to fill those gaps if you lose it right at the front. And if he had built this SimCity any other way, I think Zest is dead this game. So it's really cool to see just how effective that was.
Very risky move there with the DT, coming out of the wall to try and defend them. But hey, the Cybercore is going to go down. He needs to do something. Leenock's starting to drone and get a lair behind this. But the Zerglings have broken in. He's still got a lot of Zerglings here right now. The probes are going to try and evacuate. Already 7 of them go down so quickly. And now Leenock can just run circles in this main base. He cannot defeat the Protoss units in a front-on fight. Nice probe block, trapping those Zerglings in the main base. Leenock just has to keep denying mining, keep picking off stray probes, and really occupy Zest while Leenock builds his own economy and tech back home.
Well, this is really big because I'm going to pull up the graph for just a moment here, but the income skyrockets for Leenock while this is going on because Zest is so busy pulling probes. He's not got consistent mining. He's down a significant amount of workers at this point, constantly juking and jiving these lings. I mean, he's doing a great job for what he can, but this is starting to feel like it might be getting a little too far gone, especially with Leenock having a 3rd down. He just goes right back into droning. He's got +2 melee weapons finishing up too, or starting up, excuse me. There's just a lot going for Leenock on the back end of this, beyond what is just the lings here and now. Nice,
another few probes go down. And yeah, it definitely looks like this has just gotten too far out of control for Zest. I thought he'd held for a moment, but he really needed to re-wall behind that Cybercore in order to shut down this aggression. He was focusing a little bit too much on the potential for the drop in the main base, rather than just the frontal attack on his wall. These Zerglings finally go down, but at the end of all of this, 51 drones for Leenock, only 22 for Zest, and he's going to have to just try and counterattack and get some counter damage done. But there is a lair done. Overseer tech is ready. Oh no. And +2.
Overlord coming back in the main just as he pulls all his defenses out, so it really is going to be pretty much all or nothing at this point. There's no way he comes back home in time to defend against this.
Oh man, going to lose that pylon. Those Zerglings going to dive into that main base. It's going to be completely forfeit. Meanwhile, there are a couple of Zerglings back at home. He needs to actually get them down to this 3rd base with that Overseer. These DTs are going to be able to focus down that Spore Crawler. Little do they know there's an Overseer just a moment away.
Even then, I feel like Zest could gut this base raw and still not have done enough damage to catch up to Leenock.
Yeah, it looks like Zest here cleverly gonna, pull back for now, but Leenock's going into Hydralisks, interestingly. +2 melee and Hydras. Hydra's a very good general unit. His Zerglings are just gonna be ridiculously powerful compared to anything Zest can make. And it looks like Zest here trying to go pretty much all in on what is basically 1-base production. Picking up the Archon and the Zealots as best as he can, but this is desperation micro time right here. DT's coming as well.
He's showing off some pretty fantastic micro.
Holy damn. Did he actually just manage to kill all those Zerglings? Yes, he did. Oh man, saves that Archon just as every single bit of its shields are gone. The Queen's gonna go down as well.
Is he gonna bring this back for real? No, there's spine crawlers, right? Like that's gotta be enough.
There's still no way he can win this game.
Yeah, I just coming out. For a brief moment though, that looked pretty hype. He takes down that army supply, a huge chunk.
Yeah, I mean, Zest is making like he was so dead, he's punching his way halfway out of the coffin, but you gotta punch yourself all the way out of the coffin for this one to count.
There's the GG.
Has to tap out. GG. Leenock takes that one out.
Okay, ties it up 1-1. We're going to get a game number 3. Could not ask for more between these two guys to kick off our day. In fact, I would be very happy if all the matches today went longer, because I would be so disappointed to have like the best Koreans possible gathered up and have like a bunch of 2-0s all over the place.
Sorry, just drinking a little bit of water there. I got to agree, man. The more 2-1s we get, the better. And this is kind of funny, right? Because Leenock basically won that game pretty, like the first attack got held, did some decent damage, but it was looking good for Zest. Then that Cybercore went down. And it was like, nope, there's 30 Zerglings with +1 in your base, and you just can't catch them. Like you're going to take too much damage. But that first game as well, Leenock was also ahead. So I think Zest here, there's got to be a lot of pressure on him going into this game number 3. I think Zest was a big favorite to make it out of this group over the likes of Leenock, but After that Zergling attack worked out there. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what map number 3 is.
What's really cool too, again, I just want to bring call back to Zest's walling, by the way. Again, I've been a little bit spoiled getting to see Zest come out and play in some of our things, but play just generally more online. And that double wall effect. Okay, he lost the game to the Drop Overlord. That part kind of sucked. But we saw how good that extra little bit of SimCity was in that super layering he had down. It was like almost this awesome bell curve of, you don't get to get into my base. I really want to see more Protoss players pick that up. I know Showtime's actually been doing it a little bit more too. We've seen Mana sort of adapt into it, but I'm not sure what it was that these guys didn't... Like SimCity doesn't seem like something that would be still innovated 5 years into StarCraft, yet it is, and that shows us how it's done.
It's kind of funny, you know, we are seeing less Protoss players opening up with that just straight to very fast adept pressure, and that sort of build, I think, kept you very safe because you're constantly building adepts early on. We do see with these more current builds, players going Nexus first a lot more, players only building a single adept and then just kind of relying on the Mothership core and getting both Robo and Twilight for that DT Archon drop. So a lot of players really relying on that SimCity to keep them safe, and I love to see that. Of course, we are going to be going into Overgrowth, a map which I'm sure we're going to be seeing all tournament long.
Oh god, the days of Overgrowth, I actually got physically sick because it was the only map all the time, always. But it's been a long time, so it's nice to have it back. And we'll see if we do in fact see it all tournament long. I'm Rifkin, still casting with Pig. We're in game number 3. And in the top right side, we've got the blue Zerg player, Leenock.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left, looking heroic this series, it is Zest.
I know, even when he's dying, Zest still looks good.
Oh yeah, he goes out like Boromir, man. Like, he kills like 20 orcs, and then you kind of cry while he's got the arrows in his chest, and he's having some, you know, sweet kind of talk about
dude,
how he failed in his mission and that sort of stuff. But
I love
Star
Wars. It was such a good movie.
you trigger lord, man.
Actually, when you started referencing Boromir right away, I'm like, what? So he's gonna die in every single game? Is that what's gonna happen next? Like, what sort of setup are you doing for poor Zest here, Pig? It's like the ultimate caster curse.
I got to be critical of Zest once again. I was critical of him in game number 1 with some of his decisions, getting a Mothership core when he knew there was no gas for Zerg. I'm going to be critical of him once more here and say he just came across with the probe and let Leenock put that hatchery down. The drone walked right past him. Zest just wasn't watching, didn't even try to block that hatchery. And there is absolutely no reason for you to not at least have a little block there. You know, this map you've got... It's not a particularly wide ramp. It's not that hard to wall off against a 12 pool. It's not a very good build at this level. So I think Zest, once again, giving Leenock a little bit more freedom in this early game than he should be. And Leenock is gonna run away with those little edges that you give him. So Zest here, once again, just giving him a bit too much room to breathe.
So while I agree that these are the top pros and they actually should be held to like perfection, like, okay, if you miss this one opportunity, you're making a mistake. I feel like Zest, he's got this aura about him where it doesn't, especially with his builds that we see over and over again, it's almost like a don't give an F attitude where it's like, okay, you're doing your thing, that's great, I'm still going to do DTs, I'm still going to do a Warp Prism, and I'm still going to spank you with them. Like, regardless of whether I got to block a hatchery or whether you got the gas or not. Like, Zest very much plays such a, I'm going to say like a based style. Look at Twilight Council, what a surprise, you know? A double layered wall with it. It's the same thing, always at a Zest.
Interestingly, he's going to build another Adept this game rather than the Mothership core. So maybe going for a classic Adept pressure and then with a slightly later DT Archon drop. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Could still do it with a very similar timing. Once again, though, Evo Chamber coming down very quickly here for Leenock.
I like this.
This is another map where it's got a great angle for these Overlord elevators. The new map pool really is, or the new old map pool as we should call it, is fantastic for these Zergling elevators. There's such good angles to come from. The question is Leenock just going to go for an all-in with it like he did last game? And I don't think that would be a good decision.
It's changing, Pig. We've stepped into an alternate timeline. Zest is actually going for Resonating Glaives.
Interesting.
No
3
Dark
gateways
Shrine.
as well. Yeah, no DT Shrine. He may follow up with one a little bit later, but I do like that he's mixing this up. You know, this is going to keep him very safe against those early all-in builds because he's got more Adepts out early. He's going to have more production. And the wall off on Overgrowth here, by the way, this is like the easiest map to just create like the most solid, ridiculously powerful wall. And there we go. Yeah, it is going to be a Robotics coming down behind this. And quite likely a Dark Shrine soon thereafter. Interestingly, a Baneling Nest is already down for Leenock. Leenock is not building drones right now. He is just building Zerglings. He's got Zerglings running around the main base. Leenock may follow this up with an all-in attack.
But so this is where I think we're going to start seeing some of the strength of Zest again. You'll notice he's already started preparing for a bit of a double layer. He covers the one pylon on the one side. Force Field will cover the other. If he sees Banelings, that is. Hopefully he'll have the sentries down. But even then, another gateway or two in the backside, and he's actually fully walled off in two different ways. Busting this won't be so easy.
One problem though, right now Leenock sees everything. He knows the build Zest's going for. He knows the timings. If Leenock can wait until the big Adept move out happens, surround them, crush them, and then break the wall, that's where his power lies. Because Zest is not scouting right now. He doesn't have sentries. He doesn't have any flying units. And while he does shut down, he doesn't get the Dropper Lord, but he does shut down the Zerglings in the main. Zest has no idea what's coming. Look at this. Leenock, yeah, he's going so sneaky. He wants to wait until the last possible second, and then he wants to dive in. But he's got to bait Zest's units away from the wall. If Zest gets to defend his natural wall, then this is all over. And right now, Leenock doesn't see the third. He doesn't realize there's units there. Okay, good. He does scout with the Zergling. He can't show his hand too early. No, the Mothership Core is going to... Oh, it pulls back. It doesn't see the Banelings. Leenock's rotating. He needs to find the damage, but the War Prism's going to spot it. Zest playing so safe right now.
He doesn't see it. He doesn't see it.
Oh,
Leenock is so good at dodging and weaving, man. This is insane.
Zest is still waiting behind his wall, though. He hasn't moved out yet. If he just... Oh, he's moving out. No, just as the Banelings get here, Zest is on the wrong side of his wall. No! He's not watching. And, oh, man, Leenock with a huge all-in. He delayed for so long, waited for that one key moment, and he dives in there. Oh, wow. Just rolling through the natural Zest. Zest, the production is still powered. He's got a pile on the back there, and Immortal is going to hold that choke point decently. But there we go. Leenock just runs fast into the main base at the same time. Zerglings running into the third. Banelings on the probes! Oh my god! Every single probe in the main base goes down.
Leenock's patience there was insane. There's a little bit of luck involved, obviously, but my god, the timing of that couldn't have been better. Zest, I think, had just set up the Warp Prism on the other side of the map to warp in, and that's why he wasn't looking at the sentries. Even if he saw that coming late, he could have gotten those force fields down in time. But 100% he was not looking at the front of his base. Cost him his main, cost him his third. He's going to hold up for like one last bastion of hope in his natural, but I mean, he's on one base. It's not going to go so well.
Yeah, there's no Archon Tech this time. Without Archon Tech, you're not going to be able to just, out-micro those Zerglings forever. He doesn't have much damage. Banelings come in the wall. Oh, man. All of his units are going down, getting surrounded. Nice force field on the ramp. Does buy him a little bit of time here, but he needs more than time right now. And these +1 Zerglings go ham, overwhelm everything, and Leenock, with the sneakiest and cheekiest of all-ins, takes down Zest 2-1.
That's wildly impressive for a lot of different reasons. But what I truly, truly love is not seeing that score, not seeing that result for Leenock. Like, okay, hurrah, he beat one of the best Protoss players. But the way he did it, man, I really enjoyed that series. Like, there was no clean part of that series. And even at the end there, that was so close, so risky, so dangerous the way Leenock was moving in the map. And still won. Absolutely
that was actually insane as well. Like, I assume we're going to have like a minute or so. Let me know if they get the next match, because I'm going to just kind of watch the replay for a second here.
I will let you know.
Because Leenock was so lucky there as well. Like, I gotta be brutally honest and say, like, Leenock was planning it so well, and then Zest just like changed up his plan and was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna push out with the depths. I'm just gonna warp in stalkers to like kill your overlord, drop, warp in sentries and camp behind my wall. So Zest was like literally doing the safest thing possible, and then right at the point where he's like, well, there's no way you're hitting me with an all-in. Like, it's been too long. Just as he moved out of his natural wall, that just happened to be the moment where Leenock was like, oh crap, I can't wait any longer. He's not coming out. I think I need to go. And literally through chance and nothing else, Leenock found the perfect timing. Of course, there was patience. There was a lot of stuff that went into, opening up that opportunity. But the stars did align for him just as he went in there. Those sentries, Zest not watching them. Oh man, managed to bash the wall down there.
I love
Leenock taking that surprising victory.
I love that it wasn't just good, but it was good enough to really make Peg get so excited. Like, you can feel that passion coming out of him here as he watches that replay. What we're going to do, guys, is go to a bit of a break, I guess, while we wait to see what's going on. So I'm just going to mute us, put some music on, and we'll hopefully be back shortly. I don't know how long it'll be till the next series, but do stick around. We'll be back soon.